Welcome everyone, today we're going to be speaking about some crucial tips on how to dodge bullets in Apex Legends. With the recent Easter egg giving us third person access, we can learn a lot more through our character movements, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some crucial tips on how to dodge bullets in various situations. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to support me further, be sure to scroll down, drop a like, and if you're currently not subscribed to the channel, be sure you're subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. So I'm going to break these tips into two different sections, the first section being tips when you're engaging in a gunfight, and the second section being when you're retreating from a gunfight. So the first tip we're going to be speaking about is quite an advanced tip, but it's something that I've discovered quite recently and I've been integrating it much more often in my game. It's called the slide reverse technique, which is essentially cancelling your slide halfway through and reversing back to the other way. And to cancel your slide in this game takes so little time, it's like 0.25 seconds, so it happens almost instantly and you can really bait and trick enemies into aiming the opposite way. So the way to do this is really simple. You want to make sure you're sliding horizontally towards the enemy, so that way you take full advantage of reverting back to the other way. Whether you're sliding through a doorway or through a building, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a horizontal way, and about halfway through your slide you want to press your sprint button whilst moving left at the same time. With controller you literally press down and left on the left analog stick and it does it straight away, and I believe it's shift and the A key on keyboard. This causes the enemy to become off track for about half a second, giving you some crucial time to land a few more shots before the enemy has to readjust its aim. Of course you have to be running to be able to slide in the first place, that's why you want to make sure you're doing this when you're peeking past corners or when you're going through doorways. You don't want to do this in an open space area when you're already engaging in a gunfight, as it won't work. So the next tip I want to speak about is integrating crouch into your game, whether you're strafing or whether you're in a standstill position. And something I didn't realise before this third person feature came out is that by crouch spamming your character is still dipping down all of the way, something that doesn't look like is happening when you're in a first person perspective. When you're in first person and you're crouch spamming, it doesn't look like your character is actually going down all of the way, but in fact your character actually is. So abuse the crouch spamming feature, whether you're integrating it into your strafe or whether you're having a sniping battle from medium to longer ranges and you want to avoid getting shot. Something I mentioned in my old tips video is that snipers will have a very slow strafe speed, so only aim in when you're ready to shoot and then aim back out again and make sure you're hip strafing. Don't strafe whilst aiming in at all times because you're going to be very slow, and it's always best to only aim in when you're ready to shoot, and when your sniper is ready to fire again, aim back in and just keep repeating the same thing, and it works out much more better than aiming in at all times. Now of course we all know of the standard strafe technique, moving left and right during a gunfight, but I just want to briefly touch on it because I still see some people doing it incorrectly. You don't want to spam the left and right movement controls really fast, as you're not going to be moving at a great distance. When strafing you want to create a large gap for the opponent, so you want to make sure you're probably switching every half a second from left to right, and sometimes add some unpredictability into that, so cut it short every now and then so your opponent doesn't know that you're going to switch at an exact time. As long as you're not spamming left and right, which is going to cause you to hardly move, and you're not strafing only one way, which gives the opponent time to readjust their aim, then you should be doing a good job and you're going to create a hard target for your opponent to deal with. Now when it comes to dodging bullets when you're on the receiving end and you're trying to get away from a gunfight, there are a few techniques that you can use which will increase your chances of escaping. So the zigzag method is a good way of avoiding bullet damage when trying to retreat or get to a different part of the map, but as with normal strafing I see some people doing it incorrectly. A lot of people are using their A and D keys or their left analog stick to move left and right, whereas you could be using your right analog stick or your mouse to move left and right whilst running, so you're going to be moving from left to right much more faster whilst sprinting, which will increase the gap what the enemy has to shoot at, and you'll also get to your position much more quicker. And the way to do this is really simple. All you need to do is be sprinting and then moving left and then moving right with your look controls, not your movement controls. If you're looking left and right too fast, then you're going to lose your momentum. As you guys can see, your momentum slows down in Apex Legends when you're moving from one side to another at a very fast pace, so you want to make sure you're doing a very good flow and maybe moving from left to right every half a second to ensure that you're maintaining at your speed. Another tip I'd like to talk about is that if you look down whilst having a weapon equipped, your character's head will also move down, so when you're looting up boxes or if you're just trying to retreat from a gunfight, you can use this method and it will give your head less exposure, and if you do get hit by a few shots, they will likely be body shots, which will be less damage for you. So the last thing I want to speak about is hip fire strafing. Now, I've done a video on this about 4 months ago and I quickly want to round up on it again. When you're engaging with enemies at very close range, you want to be hip firing only. Why do you want to be hip firing? Well, there's many benefits. Firstly, you're maintaining your field of view, and secondly, you can have a very fast strafe speed, which you can't have if you're aiming in, meaning you can move side to side more faster, almost double the amount of speed than if you were aiming in, and it just creates a harder target for the opponent. So always make sure you're hip firing when you have the opportunity to do so, and weapons like assault rifles, LMGs and snipers will really benefit when you're hip firing because they have the slowest ADS speed out of all of the weapons in Apex Legends. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you guys have got any tips you'd like to leave in the comment section for other people watching this video, be sure to do so. Let's all help each other out. But since this third person came out, I've discovered some new tips that I thought I'd share with you guys. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, scroll down, drop a like and also subscribe to the channel if you're currently not subscribed. Thank you all for watching this Apex Legends video. Enjoy the rest of your day and I'll catch all of you guys out in another brand new Apex Legends video.